Welcome back to the Blue Collar Boxing Podcast. I am Luke from Biloxi. Thanks for joining the show. Today I want to talk about the Tyson Fury comeback against Arslanbek Makhmudov taking place April 11th on Netflix from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the UK. Now, the issue that I have with this is that all the fights on the main card are straight up mismatches. All of them. It speaks to where Netflix wants to go in the future with their fights, in my opinion. And we'll get more into that in just a little bit. But let's start with the first sort of main event undercard. There are fights before this that will be on a free streaming platform, but I'm talking about the top four. So we have Justice Huni versus Frazier Clark. Now, Huni is coming off a knockout loss to Fabio Wardley, a fight that he was winning nearly every second of until he was knocked out with the right hand in the 10th round. No shame in that for Huni. He's taking on Frazier Clark, who has a lot of miles on him. A lot of miles. Obviously was knocked out by Fabio Wardley, did something to his jaw and the side of his head in that fight. He has sort of a cursory win since then. Nothing really to write home about. But it's built for a knockout, right? Huni's probably going to outbox him for 4 or 5 rounds, wait till he gets tired, and then get him out of there. The next fight of the evening is two guys' names that I just have given up pronouncing, Jamie TKV and then Richard Riekpore. This is going to be for the British Board of Boxing Control's British Heavyweight Championship. One thing I will say before I criticize the fight, and I shouldn't even criticize this fight. That's not what I'm criticizing the card. I love how in the UK, in Great Britain, they care so much about their homegrown titles. I am a big boxing guy. I cannot tell you who the NABF heavyweight champion is or the NABO heavyweight champion is here in the United States. We certainly have no idea who the Pacific Coast Northwest champion is. In the UK, those titles matter, and they actually sell a lot of tickets on those titles. This, of course, is no exception. Now, TKV, he's well known there. Obviously, he's the title holder. Riekpore is best known for losing a 12-round decision to Chris Billum-Smith, CBS. That was back in June of 2024. He's put together 2 knockouts at heavyweight. He went from 200 pounds to now he's in the mid-230s. He's typically a cruiserweight, but in his last 2 fights, he's moved up. No problem. Good for him. Make that money. Go out there and get it. He should outclass TKV. TKV has literally no stamina. And one of the things about the British Board of Boxing Control Heavyweight Championship is that it's a 12-round fight. There's no way this fight gets 12 rounds. TKV will run out of gas, and I expect his opponent to knock him out in short order. Now, not short order, but sometime during the fight. Now, the main fight that I want to criticize is Conor Benn and Regis Prograis. And the reason this one really burns me so much is Conor Benn goes out, he signs a $15 million one-fight deal with Zuffa, which allows him to fight on these ring cards, right? And it's a one-off fight. It's a one-and-done. He will be the highest-paid undercard fighter in the history of the sport, and perhaps the highest paid, chief support, as the Brits like to call it, co-main event fighter. What really kind of bothers me is that it's taking place at 150 pounds, and Conor Benn is purported to be the WBC's #1 welterweight in the world. Of course, that limit is 147 pounds. Conor Benn has not fought at welterweight in 4 years. His last fight at welterweight was April 16th, 2022, Chris Van Heerden. He won by second-round knockout. And since then, he fought twice at the junior middleweight limit and then twice at the middleweight limit, and, of course, had it suffered a long suspension or whatever you want to call that over the PED issues with the eggs and all that. Further, Regis Prograis has fought inside the welterweight division once or twice, I guess. He had some fights with Juan Heraldez and Ivan Reddick back in 2020 and 2021, and then he just fought Jojo Diaz. I say just fought. It was all the way back in August, and won a unanimous decision in a barn burner fight between two guys who frankly have lost a step. So to have Regis Prograis, who's a two-time title holder, move up and fight at 150 pounds is laughable. And I love Regis. I have New Orleans roots. I also have Houston roots, just like he does. I followed his career. I've seen him fight at the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. I like the guy. He's past it, and he's certainly not going to be effective at 150 pounds. Now, I want to know if the WBC, just like they just stripped Shakur, just like they stripped Terrence Crawford before he retired of his 168-pound belt, are they going to remove Conor Benn as the WBC #1 contender for yet again refusing to engage in a contest at welterweight, much less against someone who's ranked at welterweight? Is that going to happen? Or are they going to keep him there because they know it brings in big money? And I shame Conor Benn on this. Look, make your money, brother. You'll never. I'm not shaming you for making money. I will never tell a prize fighter they can't fight for prizes. That's what it's here about. It's about taking care of your family. I get it. But when you sit ringside at a Devin Haney fight and you feign that you're falling asleep on Eddie Hearn's shoulder, right? When you call out Ryan Garcia, the WBC welterweight champion now, and act like you could take him and blah, 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 and then you go fight Regis Prograis, who's never fought at junior middleweight, who's had 3 fights at welterweight and has never fought at the welterweight contracted limit of 147 pounds. I'm supposed to now take you seriously in any weight class? No. Shame on you, Conor Benn. Make that money, good for you. You are not interested in competing at the highest levels of the sport in any weight class. Whew. All right. Next point, and I talked about this briefly when the fight was announced, but of course Tyson Fury is going to fight Arslanbek Makhmudov. And again, that is a gross mismatch. Tyson Fury, if he's obese and 310 pounds, can beat Arslanbek Makhmudov with his left jab over 10 rounds with no problem. With literally no problem. Makhmudov doesn't move. His footwork is atrocious. He has some power, but Fury has faced power punchers, including Usyk, including Otto Wallin, much more devastating than Makhmudov, at least at the highest level. I don't want to call it a joke, but it feels like a joke. This is a guy who went 12 rounds with David Allen, couldn't beat him. Allen had his moments, almost, caused a little drama there that led one to believe at one point maybe he could beat him. He was knocked out by Guido Vianello, and of course he was knocked out by Ajit Kabayel. So enough of the layups, guys. The layups are killing boxing. All right, we need guys to fight the best. And Tyson Fury fighting Makhmudov and Conor Benn fighting Regis Prograis are not that. It's atrocious. And it is a card that is designed to produce knockouts to farm social media engagement after the show is over. That's what this is. Okay? This is for people to click on it on social media and decide, I want to subscribe to Netflix. It's not about who's the best fighting the best, because none of these guys, this is a card full of mismatches. And with Netflix, in the Tyson Fury world with the show and everything, this is shoulder programming to that. Listen, after Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, after Terrence Crawford and Canelo, Netflix realized they needed knockouts. They wanted knockouts, right? They wanted pro wrestling style content. So they put Jake Paul in with Anthony Joshua. And yeah, it was boring for 4 rounds, but Joshua nearly decapitated him and broke his jaw. And it was one of the highest social media engagement highlights in the history of boxing. And they're trying to recreate that with this. They're not going to get close because none of these people are as popular as Jake Paul. But they're going to produce some highlight reel knockouts that they can then go on social media and farm new subscribers. It's a mismatch. Nevertheless, of course, I will watch. I'm a Netflix subscriber, so I don't have to pay anything extra. It will be on in my house. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and give me a follow at Blue Collar Boxing on X. I will see you on the next one.